It's time once again for our ABC Real segment. We have with us Rich Frank. Rich, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
The past couple of weeks, for those of you who are regular viewers, we've talked about proper carpet cleaning and we've talked about tile and grout. Today, what is our subject material?
We're going to talk a little bit more about natural stone, but I would just like to also reiterate we're basically a multi-surface cleaning and restoration company. So in case people don't know that, we can basically, any surface needs that you need clean or polished, we can pretty much take care of everything for you.
What is stone? Describe that.
Stone, when we're talking about stone, we're talking about something that naturally comes out of the earth. It's not a tile, it's not a ceramic, it's not baked or prefabricated. It comes out of the earth naturally like that. It's a natural stone, and it'll be cut whatever shape is necessary for the flooring, or sometimes it could even be used on walls and on ceilings, in fact.
And also around fireplaces, I would think, as well.
Yes, it's actually a beautiful enhancer for a fireplace.
Does stone need maintenance, or the fact that it's millions of years old, once it's been polished or shined, what happens to stone?
Well, it actually depends on what kind of look you want. For example, the patio we have here, we have a natural brick, which has a natural, what we call a satin or a dull finish. But then, of course, as you know, if you've seen in hotels or any nicer homes, you can have marbles or granites that are polished up, that have a very nice marbling through them, and a really nice reflective characteristics, which can really make a room look larger and really enhance the room and make it look much more beautiful and rich.
So what do you do? In other words, you come in and let's just talk about floors. Now, you've got stone floors, but do you consider marble stone? Do you consider travertine stone, or what? How do you define what we're going to be talking about?
Well, most people, when they relate to marble or travertines, they'll see marble as a more glossy or mirrored type finish. And usually travertine is again more like a natural stone where it's not usually polished. But a lot of people aren't aware of this. Here at ABC Real, we can actually polish even travertine and give it a more lustrous finish, so it looks more like a marble or a granite stone.
How do you do that?
Well, first of all, a lot of times you'll come into a home and you'll feel ridges between the tiles. And I want to share with people out there, it's not always the installer's fault. Sometimes it's just the grade of the stone. You have like a contractor's grade and you have like a premium select grade. And a premium select grade is where the stone is cut much more evenly and much more precise. So when it is laid, it could be laid at basically a flat surface. Contractor's grade stone still has a good look about it, but a lot of times between the joints or between the grout lines, you'll have ridges where the stone has not been laid evenly. And again, it's just the stone itself. It's not the
is one better than the other necessarily?
No, in fact, in a lot of cases, and especially in the old way of doing stone, they would lay the stone and they would call someone in like us to actually grind down the stone and cut the stone and smooth it out and give it a flat surface. So the way we do that is if we have stone that's uneven or basically you could be scratched from moving furniture or tables or anything like that, we'll come in with a more coarse type pad that we hook onto our polishers, and this is a 50 grade, and you would start off with this to start cutting and polishing your stone, and then you would eventually end up with a 3500 grade, and this would be for like your final finish and give you that really nice mirrored look without any scratches or swirls in it. So it's quite a long process, and it takes a lot of patience.
And so when you go into a house, let's say I've got marble floors. I guess the best way I put it, what would you say? Well, you don't really need anything; it's in good shape. Say people think that they need it polished or shined when they might not. Or is that a false statement?
In most cases, I find that they do, because we're professionals. So when we look at a floor, even though it may look as shiny and polished, it's not as polished or shiny as it could be. A lot of times you'll see swirl marks, which I don't want to put any blame on anybody, but it wasn't actually professionally polished, and really you have to spend a lot of time to get that really lustered, mirrored finish on the stone. So a lot of times you'll see swirl marks, or you might even see like hairline marks from where furniture has been pulled across it. So I would suggest maybe every once, twice a year, 2 years, have a really deep polish and seal done to your stone, and then maybe have it maintained every couple months.
Do you charge by the hour or the job, or I mean, how when you want to walk into a house, how do you tell them how much it's going to cost?
You usually charge with stone, you charge by the square foot. And,
Okay.
and of course, if it's a small area, it's a little bit more, but if it's a big area, then of course we work with the customer and give you substantial discounts.
The kitchens, granite countertops, Corian countertops. First of all, what's the difference between a granite countertop and a Corian countertop?
A granite countertop, again, is a natural stone, and a Corian is usually a lighter color, but it's also pressed, and it's more man-made.
Can they be damaged?
Yes, they can, especially scratching pots across it or putting something too hot onto certain Corian stones. You could actually burn it. So you need to be careful with Corian. Granite is actually much more durable and a much harder stone, and it's actually a lot easier to work with as far as everyday use in the kitchen.
If there has been a burn mark, can that be polished out, or sorry about that?
It can. It basically depends how deep that burn goes. If it's basically a light burn, yes, many times it can be polished out. If it's too deep, then it's going to, you might have to replace the top to get it fixed. But we will let you know ahead of time. It's not we're not going to oversell you or tell you something that we can fix if we can't fix it.
One final question. I saw a commercial the other day where somebody had a scratch in the car and they had a solution, a Simon Ice type of a thing, in which they could just buff it out. Is that possible if there's a crack in granite or Corian?
There are contractors out there, and we have access to those contractors. And if you have a situation where you do have a crack or a chip, we can get someone out there to repair it. And in fact, we have some really good contractors that can color match beautifully. So in many cases, you can't even tell that there was a flaw there.
Good. Okay. Telephone numbers.
292-4335.
Okay. Free estimates on everything that they do, and give us real fast a laundry list of some of the services that ABC Real offers.
Carpets, tile and grout, pressure washing, driveways, homes, windows, basically any surface you have, we can take care of it for you.
Good. Thank you. Rich Frank,
Thank you.
ABC Real.